So this is sort of a mindset that I've seen other people have. They are here to win. They are not here to lose. They don't care about the people. And I'm going to put hello everyone and welcome to Wavelength. My name is Waveney. I'm a leadership coach and I am here to help you to be your best self. I am here to help you to develop influential leadership in your professional life and in your personal life. So welcome. Now, are you ready to get on the same wavelength? Fabulous. Alrighty, so today I thought that I would speak about and share with you some ideas about leading in fear. So today we're going to speak about leading in fear and what that looks like. So over the course of my career, I've been in HR, I really have to get this number correct, but it has to be around maybe 17 or 18 years. And even within my own personal and professional development, I've come to realize that many leaders, especially when they are not performing well, especially when situations arise and they may manage certain things in a certain way, it really comes down to fear. They are leading in fear, and many times we do this and we're not aware. I certainly have seen it in my own life, like I've just mentioned, and after I've gone back and reflected on the situation, there really were options available. There really were other courses of actions that I could have taken, but I didn't do it because I was in fear. I was so frozen in fear that I took the path of least resistance. I took the path and took the action that seemed right at the time. And this is what when people talk about emotional intelligence, these are the kinds of things. If you really dove deep into emotional intelligence, if you really take a look at it, the first thing about emotional intelligence that they teach you is self-awareness. And that is so powerful. That is so powerful because if you are not aware of yourself, if you don't understand you, if you don't understand how you show up, if you don't understand what you do when you're afraid, you are going to be leading in a way, you're going to be showing up in a way, you're going to be taking actions in a way that are not aligned with the person who you want to be. You are here because, and you're listening to the people's brand because you want better for yourself. You want to learn, you want to grow, you want to become an influential leader. And so the first step is awareness. I have a 3-day challenge and it serves to help you to become more aware. I focus on 3 areas, and so you might want to take that challenge. It's a great challenge, and it's for this very reason why I created it, because what I've come to realize is it has to start with us. Leadership isn't an external activity, and I'm digressing a bit. It isn't an external activity. It is something that comes from within, and you want to do it right. You want to get it right. Of course, you're going to make mistakes. Of course, things are going to happen, but the key is awareness, and the key is understanding yourself. And so that is really the backdrop against which I'm going to be speaking about this topic today. And so leading in fear. So when I speak about leading in fear, you lead in fear if you are stifling your authenticity, the authenticity of who you are, or the integrity of a situation, or you're compromising on your values, all within the professional context I'm speaking about. So let me say that again. When I talk about leading in fear, I'm talking about you stifling your authenticity, who you are as a person, right? The integrity of a situation. Something might pop up and you're stifling that, right? You're compromising on your values. And all of this ties into leading in fear. And so I want to ask you a few questions. So, have you ever kept quiet, knowing that what your boss or maybe another manager or maybe it's senior leadership, have you ever kept quiet, right? When this other person is saying what they were saying was inaccurate or simply not true. So perhaps your boss is saying something that is inaccurate and not true. I am not suggesting that you correct them in the moment, because sometimes our bosses have egos. Let's be real about that. And sometimes it's not the time or place. So I'm not talking about correcting them in the moment, but I'm talking about situations that the information is being provided is inaccurate. Probably the person don't have the whole story. Probably they don't have all the information. It is inaccurate, and you sit there and you don't correct them, or you're uncomfortable with something that they're saying. It's not true, maybe about someone, because as a leader, sometimes we're in meetings and we're discussing other employees, whether it's their career or what have you. And I've seen leaders just sat there. Earlier on in my career, before I got to this level, I've certainly sat there, right, and look at other people sitting there and not doing or saying anything. So I am familiar with that. So you didn't do anything, you didn't speak up, and you sort of agreed. You agreed with what that person was saying. So that's one scenario. The other scenario, the other question I want to ask you or present to you is, you're very much focused on the goal. So you are a leader within the department or supervisor or whatever, and you're focused on the goal, you're focused on the project, you're focused on the work that you have to produce, the daily task that your department have to produce. And your team, to you, in your mind, your team doesn't seem to care or to get it, but you are not here to lose. So this is sort of a mindset that I've seen other people have. They are here to win. They are not here to lose. They don't care about the people. And I'm going to put care in quotation marks. They don't care about the people on their team. They just want to get it done. They're not seeing, or they may see somebody struggling, or they may see certain things going on, but they're like, okay, I am here to win. I am not here to lose. We have this thing to do, and we are going to get it done, right? So for you, it's about, you want to win that award, or you want to get that recognition, or perhaps I've seen this where managers come into a department, and the predecessor who was there, their predecessor, I think I'm saying the word correctly, right? The predecessor, the person who was there before them, they want to beat that person. They're almost as if they're in a competition with that person. The person has long gone, but they want to upstage everything that person has done. They want to upstage that person, right? And they want to beat their numbers, or they want to beat whatever it is, insert whatever that is that you want. And this may be you. This may be you. You focused on the goal, and so you might care about your people, but you just focus on the bigger picture. You don't want to lose, and you want to beat that person who was there before you. Last thing, scenario / question I want to ask is, have you ever found yourself in a situation where you know that you need to address the behavior of someone? It could be anyone. Maybe your boss says something to you, and that's a little bit harder, right? When they say, I'll do something. So that's a little bit more tricky because you're not really sure. and the power dynamic is there. But it could be someone on your team, or it could be a peer. But you need to address something that somebody has done, a behavior, but you ignore it, or you just keep delaying it. You just keep delaying it. You just keep delaying it. And the reason why I bring up all these scenarios is that these scenarios are just indicators that you are leading in fear. You feel threatened by whatever the situation is. Yes, even the one where you want to beat that person, that you want to, you're I'm sorry, you have that goal and you want to, win, right? All of this you don't want to address, so you're avoiding. All of this is about leading in fear. And these are ways that leading in fear shows up. And we lead in fear, like I just mentioned, because we feel a threat. Now, studies and scientists, and there's lots of articles out there on the internet, you can read it. They've said that our brains are old, right? The way we react to threats, we react to them in a very archaic way. We don't react to them as if, well, it's a simple when I said simple situation. So we react to them like, for example, a long time ago, when people were living in caves, or it was about tribes, or a long time ago, when it wasn't, the society wasn't as civilized. When there was a threat, whether another tribe or a group threatened this particular civilization, they would react in a very heightened way with heightened emotions. And our bodies, and there's lots of studies out there, and there's lots of information about it, our bodies react a particular way. It's either fright, fight, flight, or fawn. There's a fawn response. So there are 4 responses that our body and our bodies and our emotions react when we feel threatened. And it's interesting because we still act that same way even now, and that is why I said something more simple. Yes, we're not back where it was uncivilized and people were coming to destroy tribes and clans or what have you, if there were dinosaurs or whatever, if you believe in those sort of things. Some people don't, right? We're not back in that time, but our bodies and our minds and our emotions, we respond the same way, and so we have to be mindful how fear shows up and how we might be leading in fear, because it impacts the people around us. And if you want to become an influential leader, this is something that you really have to look within yourself. You really have to know yourself. You really have to understand you. When you take certain decisions or when you react, you have to then go back and ask yourself, why did I react like that? What is happening? Where have I felt that emotion before? All of this, when people talk about emotional intelligence, again, I'm saying it, these are the things that they mean. And these are the things that if you really want to work on your emotional intelligence, you have to look. The first place, right, is your emotions. And so let's talk a little bit about why people react the way they react. Why is this? Why is that? Why are they delaying that conversation, right? Well, the first thing is, like I said, the big picture is they feel threatened. Even though you might say, well, I don't feel threatened. You feel threatened. That's the underlying thing. But Why is this? You are a people pleaser. So these are a couple of examples that I want to bring to you that you may identify with. You are a people pleaser. You've learned that to be validated, to get recognition, to get rewarded, is to agree that you need to fit in. And so the first reason why people lead in fear is that they are a people pleaser. They want to fit in. So you may find that they want to agree. They agree with everything. Your boss is saying something, you know, that doesn't make sense. You know it is dead wrong. You know it will have an adverse effect. But because you want to be liked, do you have this intense need to be like, you have this intense need to people please, to feel validated, you agree. And so we really have to work on that, because it doesn't get you anywhere. Because if you do people pleasing for a very long time, your sense of identity, you don't have that. You're going to be confused. And I don't want to go down the rabbit hole with that, but you really have to work on that. So the first thing is people pleasing. The second reason why this happens is that you are insecure as a person, right? You're insecure within yourself. And so the mechanism that you use to hide that insecurity is that you have to prove. That is why you need to beat that person who was in that department before you want to prove. You've heard the team say that this manager did X, Y, and Z, and you have set out on a path to prove, because you are insecure, right? You always want to try to prove that you belong, that you are right, that you know what you're doing. So you're in this constant state of proving, all because you are insecure. We've got to fix that. We have got to fix that. All right? And then the last thing I want to share with you why this is happening is that sometimes you find that people hide, right? You are hiding who you say you are and what you can do. And so sometimes people go into leadership roles, into management roles. They take a job and the job is much more than them. Now, I am not talking about those times when, because I think it happens to everyone, that you got a promotion, you get a position, and you're wondering what to do. I am not talking about that. You're wondering, oh my God, am I gonna get it right? Right? I'm not talking about that, because that just needs a little bit more self-confidence, that needs more competence, that person needs a roadmap, right? But I'm talking about that you have been, probably somebody encouraged you to take that role, you've been given, it was done out of favorite, whatever. It doesn't really matter why, but you've taken on a position and a role that is more than you, and you really don't know what you're doing, and you don't have the capacity. You don't have the capacity for the role, and so you're not honest with yourself, so you are hiding. And so the decisions that you make are really fear driven, and it is at the detriment of yourself and at the detriment of your team. So you're not honest with yourself. And these are the things that I want to bring to the forefront, and this is what is different about the People's Brand. I could come on here and I could share with you a bunch of technical skills, a bunch of soft skills, right? Well, not soft skills, but technical skills, a bunch of how-tos. Soft skills as well is important, but what's even more important is working on yourself. And this is what I help you. This is the difference. This is what I help you to do in the People's Brand, to not only develop those leadership competencies that you need, but also to help you in a personal way to bring these insecurities and highlight and make you become aware of these types of situations and how they can impact you showing up, how they can impact you developing your leadership competencies, because it does impact you, right? It starts with you. Leadership requires inner work. That is what I've come to discover. Leadership requires an inner work. It is not an external, it's inner work. It's about knowing yourself and your emotions. It's about knowing what your triggers are. It's about knowing that trauma that you experience, right? How it shows up. A few weeks ago, I shared with you a story about my first job and my boss that I had at the time, and I shared with you how it showed up and how it impacted me in my leadership. And these things are important. You have to look back, you have to go back so that you could move forward. And so you've got to know yourself, you've got to know your emotions, you've got to understand, why are you so impatient? What is driving that? Right? You have to work on the parts of you that are broken and hurt. Yes, you've got to work on those parts. And then you have to understand, again, how those parts, how those broken, like your traumas, your triggers, how those parts show up. And then lastly, really committing to showing up with a deeper purpose. I assume that you're here and you listen to the People's Brand because you want to be better. And so if you want to be better, you have to make a deeper commitment to yourself to sort of take the time and understand who you are, how this shows up, why is it showing up, why do I feel the need to prove, where is this coming from? And also to be honest with yourself, right? When you need the help, say you need the help and you get the help. Because knowing, and I wrote this down because as I was preparing for this, for this show, I thought about how powerful our roles are as leaders. We impact people's lives. We impact people's lives. We are in a powerful role. You've heard me say this over the last couple of weeks. We don't have to be famous. You don't even have to be infamous. You don't have to be popular. It's not about that, right? It's not about that. You just need to have a deeper commitment to a higher purpose, to your purpose. Leaving a legacy, right? The money will come. Lots of people, if you're in leadership, if you're in management to get the money, okay, fine. We need money to survive. But you will soon learn that the responsibility of leadership is far greater than any drive for money that you may have. And if you're in it for the wrong reasons, you're going to get burnt out and frustrated pretty quickly. And so I wanted to share with you these ways that people show up leading in fear. Oh, let me read to you what I wrote. I wrote, knowing that in your role as a leader, you get to impact someone's history in a profound way. In your role as a leader, you get to impact someone's history in a profound way. And I really, look at the time. Sorry, I'm looking at my time. I really want you to focus on that. So look at the ways you may want to look at this maybe a few times. Do you see yourself in any of these scenarios leading in fear? If you do, the first step is awareness. If you see yourself, you're already aware. The next step is figuring out, how did you get here? Why? What happened? When did that emotion start happening? When did you find the need find yourself wanting to prove. It probably has something to do with your childhood. It probably has something to do with something someone said. Why are you avoiding that difficult conversation? It's about you avoiding confrontation. You feel threatened by that, right? How about changing and reframing how you see addressing someone's behavior? These are things I teach you in the Communicate to Influence coaching program. And so let me know if this resonates with you. Share it out with a work bestie. And if you are ready to take your leadership to the next level, to an influential, if you want to be an influential leader, reach out to me. I will be more than happy to work with you.